Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. RDB 21 here again for another episode. Today, gonna give a little health analysis. Going to talk about um, ulcerative colitis. This is another diagnosis that's pretty personal to me. So everything that we talk about is pretty personal to me. So I try to talk about things that I know about, and I can kind of give my own little insight on. Um, the reason why I'm talking about ulcerative colitis, like I said, my son was on here a couple weeks ago, and y'all got to see him speak on it. I actually wanted him to come on here and talk about this and give his analysis and tell you his point of view, because he actually has the disease, and let him talk about it. But I'll talk about that later about why that's a problem. But I couldn't get so I'm going to give you my insight and kind of like give you the perspective of a parent who has dealt with a child who has had a chronic disease. So basically what I'm gonna do is give you the start off by giving you the definition of what ulcerative colitis is. Ulcerative colitis is a chronic inflammatory bowel disease, they call IBD for short, that affects the innermost lining of your large intestines, your colon, and rectum. This inflammation causes sores, ulcers, and can lead to a number of symptoms, including diarrhea, abdominal pain, cramping, rectal bleeding, urgent need to have a bowel movement, fatigue, weight loss, and fever. The exact cause of ulcerative colitis is unknown, but it is thought to be a combination of genetic, environmental, and immune system factors. There is no cure for ulcerative colitis, but there are treatments that can help manage symptoms and prevent flare-ups. These treatments may include medications such as anti-inflammatory drugs, immune suppressants, and biologics. Surgery, in severe cases, surgery may be needed to remove the affected portion of the colon. That's basically like some of the symptoms and some of the things that signs of ulcerative colitis. Like I said, my son, he has ulcerative colitis. Um, I wanted him to kind of go through the timeline of what happened to him and kind of like explain like what kind of symptoms he was having. But so I can I'll give you my own determination of what I was seeing, because like I said, it was a disease that me personally, I think he may have been dealing with it a lot sooner than what we realized, and I don't know if he really knew what it was. When I started recognizing it, um, he was at a soccer tournament and he was just complaining about having stomach pain. So I was getting him juices and stuff like that, trying to get him fruit juices to try to help him. And this was like when he was when he first started, like in ninth grade, and that was like when I first started noticing that he was having issues with it. So we ended up going, I believe, his ninth grade after his ninth grade year, going into his 10th grade year. I want to say like right in that summer was kind of like when we really started noticing what was really going on. So we went to the doctor and got him checked. When we went to this doctor, we went to a gastrologist. When we went to the gastrologist, I had never heard of a gastrologist. I didn't know what a gastrologist was. I didn't know nothing about what a gastrologist was. I didn't know nothing about it. Um, so when we went there, as soon as we walked in there, um, the nurse who like took, that you go in and they take your weight and height and all that stuff. She's asking us like, yeah, what are you guys here for? Blah blah blah, and we're telling her, yeah, he's having stomach issues. He's having a hard time what was happening with him was he was having stomach problems. Like he was having he was having a hard time controlling his bowel movements. Is basically what was happening. And so we had told her that, and as soon as we said that to her, she was like, "Well, first thing she said was like, oh, that sounds like ulcerative colitis." That's the first thing she said, and that was the first time I had ever heard that before in my life. I had never heard those words. I had never heard of that disease. Never heard of it at all. Never heard of inflammatory bowel disease. I never heard of any of that. I didn't know anything about it. So they diagnosed him as having inflammatory bowel disease. So that was kind of, it really didn't hit me at first when we found out about it. I mean, I knew it was something bad because, like I said, they told us that it was a disease that was not curable. So he was gonna have to deal with it for the rest of his life. So that was scary. Um, he hadn't at that point in time. He had never had a major flare up. Um, so I'll explain more a little later what a flare up is. So you'll understand what a flare up is. But he never really had none of that at that time. He was just having like stomach cramps and stuff like that. So we was just, like I said, that was what made us go to the doctor. Um, I want to say, like I said, we found out about that probably in like September of that year. And he went on to play basketball. He, like I said, my son was a soccer player and a basketball player. Um, so he was real active. So like his this isn't going into his 10th grade year. Um, he had the basketball season. They had like a holiday tournament. It was just right after Christmas. Like they had had a game, I believe, like on December the 27th. Like I remember this to the. This is like this is probably the most traumatic thing that's happened to me in my life. This is why I talk about this. Other than my nephew passing away and my son getting this disease, like these are probably the two most traumatic things that has happened to me, man, because they happened to my kids. So, um, like I said, my son, he had a game that week on the 27th, and he actually they played against a team from Australia, and he had he actually, it was the first time he ever dunked in a game. He had two dunks in the game in that game. Those are his first two times he ever dunked. So, I was, as a dad, like I was like, man, I was on cloud nine. I'm like, man, he getting better. He's getting better. So it was just, you know, I don't know how any dads know if you first time your son gets a dunk in the game, how that feels. So that happened on the 27th. So like I said, he played in that game. Everything went all right. He hadn't been really saying anything about. He hadn't said anything to me about having any kind of pain or anything, and he didn't seem to have any symptoms. But on New Year's Eve, he ended up. I guess he was having a flare up. He was having a bad flare up. He was just in bad pain. So we had to rush him. We had to take him to. We took him to an urgent care in Delaware, and basically they were like saying how like it was almost like an emergency. Like we ended up staying over. They had transported him to Children's Hospital, and we ended up going to Children's Hospital that night. And that was when I found out what a flare up was and how flare ups work and what happens to you when you are having a flare up. We ended up going there on New Year's Eve, and we ended up staying there for the next 18 days. Um, and for those 18 days, like probably for the first 10 to, I would say 10 to 12 days, that was when I got to really see what ulcerative colitis was and what it does to you and how it affects your body. Um, my son, he was, like I said, it causes you to have bowel movements. So he was having constant bowel movements. So when you're constantly having to go to the bathroom, after a while, you don't have anything inside of you to let out. So basically, man, he was going to the bathroom and when I say that he was having, it was strictly bowel movements of nothing but, to me, I would say blood and guts. That's what it looked like. It didn't look like, uh, I can't even think it. It does. It didn't look like poop. So it was just he was basically bleeding and just straight pooping out blood. And over those 2 weeks, man, he probably lost. He weighed probably 160 pounds when he went there. Within like 3 days, he weighed 127 pounds. And like I said, that those was probably the hardest days of my life, just to watch my son just deteriorate right before my eyes. Um, so ulcerative colitis is, like I said, it's a disease that affects your intestines. So it's basically like, it comes from the things that you eat. Um, so the whole time we were there, like all I did was I was Googling everything, trying to figure out what he needed to be doing, what he needed to try to. I was trying to figure out some kind of way to help him. And I'm one of the people, I really don't like hospitals. I don't like drugs. I don't like none of that stuff. But so this was like the worst thing ever, man. Like I said, we were staying overnight. We were living at the hospital for basically 3 weeks. And those 3 weeks, I figured out I needed to get him chicken broth, bone broth, those type of things. He couldn't really eat any solid foods, no solid food, smoothies, applesauce, things like that. Those were the only things that he could really eat that would actually that would not irritate his bowels. So, like I said, I learned so much during that time of how to how to treat somebody with this disease. Um, and from that experience there, it basically, like, that experience changed my life forever, man. From that time on to this day, it's changed the way I eat. It's to change the way I live, really. Um, Ulcerative colitis is basically, it's a disease that can be prevented. Um, it's pretty much a disease of the foods that we're eating. When there's a health food store that sells supplements, HSU. After my son got out of the hospital, I was, like I said, I was searching for everything. I was buying all kind of supplements. I was buying all kind of different things to try to help, trying to alleviate his pain and trying to help him get better, because I was trying to help him get back to where he was. Um, so like I said, he had lost a lot of weight. Um, so I didn't really explain to you, like I said, when he was going in the hospital, all those days we were in there, like I said, he was going back and forth to the bathroom. Now imagine having to go to the bathroom throughout a day. Most people go to the bathroom. You go when you gotta go take a poop. You go maybe once a day, maybe twice if you if you're doing a lot. Uh, I would say we were going to the bathroom maybe at least 10 times a day. That's how often he would have to go, and it was to the point to where, like, he was hooked up to IVs and he had an IV on him, to where I would have to literally, when he would get out the bed, I would have to walk him, help him, and walk him to the bathroom. That's how weak he was, because he was it was just taking everything out of him. Um, those flare ups, when they say flare ups, that's when like I told y'all, when they say flare ups, a flare up is basically when your intestine is flared up. Your intestines is bleeding, is what it is. It's not flared up. Your intestines are bleeding, and it's causing your stomach to cramp. It's causing just extreme pain to your stomach. That's what a flare up basically is. So, uh, like I said, I basically, the reason why I like to inform people about this disease is because, like I said, it's preventable. And if we I didn't realize how many people are actually suffering from similar symptoms. Um, after I found out about my son, like I said, I didn't even know my own brother. My brother has Crohn's disease. I didn't even know he had Crohn's disease for the longest. He never told anybody, and I've seen how that has done to him. So basically, inflammatory bowel disease, it can be debilitating to where, like I said, you won't even want to leave the house because nobody wants to go to the bathroom on themselves. So I want everybody to think about like what is happening to you, like the type of stress and the depression that this disease can put you under. I watched my son, man, basically like he to this day, man, he still is kind of fighting through a depression, man, that he really hasn't never got out of. Um, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying about him now not showing up. Like it has affected him in so many different ways negatively, really. Um, it's hindered him in a lot of ways because it happened at a time in his life where he was really just he was growing into a man, and it changed everything for him. So he's still dealing with a lot of it. It's something that you have to deal with every day. When we talked about it on the last session, he was basically telling us how um, he just recently went and got a colonoscopy. And our colonoscopy, it came back good. His colon looks good. And so that was like, man, that was a relief for me. It's been Man, it's been almost 6 years. I would say 5 or 6 years now that we've known that he's had this disease. And like I said, it's taken us this long to get to the point to where we're like, okay, now we feel like he's at a point where he's healthy. And we don't really worry about a lot of different things. So, but it's taken a long time to get to this point. And like I said, my son, man, he's in a depression right now, really. I know he probably ain't gonna like me talking about this, but I don't care. I want him to understand that we understand, and it's not easy, and he just has to keep fighting and keep working on himself and just keep doing the right things, man, because this disease, it'll make you change a lot of different things about your body, about your mind, about everything. You have to change the way you think about food. I know I do. I've basically I've almost became a vegetarian. Like I very rarely eat meat anymore. I can go weeks without eating meat. I don't even really hardly ever eat meat hardly at all. I eat chicken and I eat fish. I still eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I don't eat any fried foods anymore. I don't I don't eat any of that stuff. I try to I really watch what I eat. I never really did that before. And part of the reason why I do why I'm doing is because I blame myself really for what happened to my son. And that's another thing too about this disease. Like with any disease, it's something that was preventable. And I feel like I said, man, it was about what my son was eating. It broke his immune system down. He wasn't eating the proper things. So that's something that I gotta live with, man. And I really it tears me up every day, man, because I know it changed this disease changed my son's life. It changed the whole trajectory of his whole life. It took him on a whole nother path. This path that he's on right now, that's not the path that he was on before. And like I said, it's hard to deal with, man. Every day we're trying to find different things to do. But like I said, I just wanted to just basically kind of run down like some of the things that happens to you, to your body, with this disease. And like I said, it just like any tragedy, a death in the family. Like I don't, but like with this disease, like my son didn't pass away or anything like that. But man, just finding out that your child has a disease that's not curable is, I think about that every day, man. Like where did I go wrong? So I know where I went wrong. I wasn't feeding my son correctly. So that's something that I want us. We need to really think about these foods that we're eating, um, because this food is killing us. Just like I always talk about football killing us, this food is killing us too. But that's just a little rundown, kind of like my perspective on of ulcerative colitis and kind of like what happened to my son and how he went through those things. I have a guest with me today. He's been on the show before, and he's the resident physical therapist. Him and my son was on the show together. Like I said, that's part. Like I said, my son was supposed to be here. They were my tag team group, but we going. Kobe, he going solo today. Kobe Sharpe, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I know Kobe's a student right now at Ohio State. He's studying physical therapy. I asked him to come on because I know he doesn't really know a whole lot about ulcerative colitis and things like that. But I just wanted him to give a little bit of analysis and kind of give some tips on some things that people can do to to try to help just improve their health. And if you're dealing with ulcerative colitis, some of the things that you can do to try to help relieve your pain and some of the symptoms that you're going through. So I'm gonna ask him a few little questions about it and let him talk to you guys about it and see where we go from there. And like I said, please, man, everybody think about your diet. I heard this from somebody. They always told me the one way to fight racism and to fight against injustice, it starts on our plate. I never really understood that until this happened to my son. I never really understood how important what's on our plate, how important that is. So please, man, take care of your bodies and make sure that your health is number one. Because like they always say, health is wealth. And that's a motto that I really believe in now. Like, it's everything. Without your health, you can't do anything. And I mean anything. So please take care of your body, eat right, drink water, drink lots of water. Like I said, Kobe, if you can just give us a couple of things about what type of low impact exercises can help us rebuild our strength after a flare up.
Well, I'll say just like low impact, probably like some like walking, maybe some swimming stuff, some band resistant exercises, just body weight, to avoid something. But I know it's hard because you very fatigued, and I know you saw him very fatigued. But I feel like doing those things will maybe somehow like help you maintain your muscle a little bit. But I mean, of course you're gonna lose it, but help you maintain. And yeah, just doing stuff like that, just little impact things, just maybe walking around the hospital a little bit, because he might have to use the bathroom. So
Yeah,
just
yeah. That was when we were at the hospital. That was what we. So anybody that does have flare ups, that was one thing I will say. Like I said, when we were in the hospital, for a long time. So, they was always telling us to get them to move around. Like he said, they're very fatigued, man. So they're so fatigued that they don't really like to do anything. So you have to get them up moving, get their body moving. So yeah, we used to walk around the hospital. That was one thing that we did. We would get up and walk around the hospital, and he used to have to carry his IV thing with him. He didn't like to do none of that, but yeah, that is important. Walking, I'm gonna tell you, man, walking for anybody, walking is probably one of the best exercises you can do for anything. Like if you can't do anything, walk, walk. I'm a male man, so I always say whenever anybody tells me, you work out, I'm like, man, I work out every day. So there, just try to walking is always good, man, for any type of ailments that you have, really. Knee pain, any type of thing like that, really walking is good for all those type of things. All right, are there any specific stretches or mobility exercises that can help with inflammation and joint pain?
I would just say little things like I don't know if y'all know what child's pose is.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Just stretching in general, just like little maybe arm circles, get the circulation going, just having blood flow, and just not really like, even though I know like they're very fatigued and stuff, just get the blood moving, with the walking, just little stretches, just get the blood working, and make sure you don't get it all, you know not really moving because you just laying down all day, because I know it's hard, but you gotta just push through it, and uh just keep going with that
yeah,
stuff, and just be repetitive with it. uh yeah.
yeah. We had when like I said, when we got out of the hospital, that was one of the first things that I started doing. We started doing yoga.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah,
started going to
that's a
yoga
good one.
classes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like so, yeah, child's pose is a we know about child's pose.
Yeah.
But yoga is that was something that was another thing. Like I said, this changed this. When I tell you that this changed my life, it had me doing stuff that I never did before in my life. I never did yoga before until this happened. Like, but I do yoga all the time now. But yeah, like he's saying with yoga, when we started doing it, like man, I was like, wow, like yoga is a great if you do yoga correctly, just it helps with your breathing, helps with just stretching, relieving pain and things like that. Like it's yoga is very good, especially if you do it every day. If you do yoga every day, like man, you would be surprised how well your body feels. Stretching is almost like lifting weights. It does. It's something that your body needs. So I understand how what he's saying as far as that. Yoga is I would say anybody with ulcerative colitis, man, yoga should be definitely a part of your daily regimen. Cause it helped us a lot. I when we used to lead those sessions, my son would tell me how he felt better afterwards. So I know that is something that does help. I actually, like I said, I used to do it too. So I mean, even if you don't have any type of disease or anything, like it's a great exercise. Just to help your body, man. It just you would be surprised, man. I never knew I never knew I could stretch as far as I could do until I started doing yoga, man. And how you can actually control it. Yoga teaches you how to control your breathing and things like that.
Think cycling's also good, but you don't want to do too much of it, because you don't. I mean, he was already losing weight, so you don't want to keep losing weight. But cycling's also a good solution to just moving and stuff while you're dealing with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Riding a bike. I think
Yeah.
that would be a good thing to do. Um. Okay. How can I safely reintroduce physical activity after periods of inactivity due to the symptoms?
I think just introducing it like very slowly, like maybe just doing 10-15 minute sessions of whatever you're doing, like yoga, and then just increase it as you get better, and just things like that, like walking, increase it as you're feeling better. But I think start out with like 10-15 minute sessions of those things, and just be consistent with it, so you can keep getting better. But I know it's not all physical, so each something you gotta keep up with the medications and stuff they give you for uh problems, because I know that's more like medical, like you can't really fix it physical, but I think physical definitely does help. Like even the little walks will help you mentally when you're going through bad times like that. But yeah, I think these things will definitely help you maybe not kind of maintain your muscle, because I know you say you lost a lot of
Yeah.
weight, so
Yeah.
just help you maintain your muscle, and keep you in good spirits while you at it.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked about the medication. One thing I will say, like with my son, he was on like he had to. When you have a disease like this, they put you on a lot of different medications to try to quote unquote put it in remission, to put the flare ups in remission, to where they say that they can try to get your colon back to normal. That's what they say. Um, there was I can't even name. This is why I wanted my son to be here because I can't even name all the different drugs that they tried. They tried all kind of different ones. We had ones where he was taking pills, but he had, and see with this, you have to get infusions. I don't know, if you know what an infusion is. An infusion is basically like when they give you an IV, put it into your arm, and they just put the medication, and you have to like get it infused into you for like an hour, 45 minutes. They're putting this drug into you. That's an infusion. Um, he still gets those to this day. That's something that I am not an advocate for. This is something that this is why I'm trying to tell y'all, like, this is an ongoing battle for us right now. This is where I'm trying to get my son to the point to where he doesn't need those medications. That's where I'm trying to get him to, because I feel like if you keep those drugs, they going to keep you on those drugs forever as long as you have this disease, because the disease is incurable. So if you let them, they'll keep you on those drugs forever. So I try to always tell him, man, we have to. This is why it's important for him to eat the proper things, because flare-ups are basically, when you get a flare-up, it's because some kind of way you irritated your stomach in some kind of way. That's basically what a flare-up is. So like I said, it comes from what you eat. So if you eat the wrong thing that has something in it that's bad, that's what causes the flare-ups. So you pretty much, if you keep a consistent diet and eat the right things, you won't have to worry about flare-ups and things like that. And so, like I said, the medication, that's something that I'm fighting with my son right now. I want him off of these medications, because the medications, they hurt your liver. There's side effects to all these drugs. I mean, and once again, I feel like the hospital, man, they put us in there, man. Once we go in there, we in there. They got you. So they want to keep us forever if they can. If they can keep us on that medication forever, that's gonna be a nice little paycheck for the medical industry. So I would say, man, and I always try to tell my son, man, the goal is to get off of this medicine and to be able to take care of ourselves through our food and the way we eat. Our food can be medicine if we use it properly. So that's something that I want people to understand. Like, your food can be your medicine. If you eat the right things, your body can cure itself. So don't think that you have to have all these medications. Like, yeah, you do need to go to the doctor. You do need some things. Like I said, my son, I ain't gonna say he did need this medicine, because he was in a bad place. He did need something. So I'm not trying to say that it didn't help him. But as far as long term, please don't ever try to stay on any drugs long term, because there's organ damage that comes with with a lot of these drugs. So that's just something that I'm a big advocate for, man. I don't like my son being on this medication, man. I hate when he gets those infusions. I always tell him, like, man, let's go up here to this health store and we can get a regimen of supplements, man, and we won't need this stuff. But like I said, he's grown, so it's kind of hard to get him to do a lot of things. So, and that's another thing with having a chronic disease. My son got it as a child, and as he's grown into become a man, it causes a lot of strain. So trying to keep him, I want to tell him what to do and tell him how to go about it, but now I really can't, because he's grown now. So I have to let him manage it on his own. So it's kind of hard for me as a dad, man, because it's a lot of things that I wish that he would be doing that I know he's not. But
No, I definitely agree with that medication thing. I feel like people take it, and it's just, I feel like your body could do good on its own. I mean, I get, like, at the start, you feeling stuff and you kind of need it, but I feel like after a while it just gets to a point your body won't even really feel it. You just think it's doing something, but there's a lot of side effects to it in the long term for if you take it long enough. And I just believe, like, medication shouldn't be taken that long, and some medication aren't really needed, but just how it is, you know.
Yeah,
People gotta make money and stuff. So
yeah, yeah. That's why I said, man. I don't think you realize, man. Physical therapy is like it's almost a way to combat against that medication.
yeah,
So it's what you doing, man. You really you're helping people to get away from that. So I think I don't even know if you understand that that's what you doing with this is it's actually it's an alternative to that. So people, if they do physical therapy, can actually it can, just like I said, just like with yoga, those things those things can actually help you get off of medication if you're doing those things on a daily basis. Like I'm telling you, yoga, man, I, yoga can heal you, man. Like if you really do yoga every day, like it can heal you. People who have knee pain, things like that. Your dad, he need to do yoga. We gotta get him doing some yoga. I'm telling you, we can get that.
yeah,
Yoga is like it can be it's a silent healer.
it is.
Uh, um, all right, my this is my last question, just as far as the exercising component of it. He's like, how can you strengthen strength training? How can strength training and resistance exercises benefit recovery? And how should I start?
I think it'll benefit you physically and mentally, and with your situation. I think you know, just like I said earlier, taking those walks is gonna clear your mind, and it's gonna, you know, get you moving, get your blood flowing, to have all that feel a little better. I know it's not gonna get completely better, but it's better than just, you know, laying down there and not feeling good. And I know it's hard because, you know, fatigue and stuff, but I just think, you know, just doing these things will just definitely help you mentally and physically. And the yoga thing, just it'll help you just get your mind off of that for a second, and, you know, help you physically, you know, get your body feeling better. And I just think all of these things are just good for this thing. And to start off, I think, you know, just doing little things you can do in the hospital, obviously without pain, like just, well, it's not swimming because you can't get no swimming pool in there. But I think swimming is really good for things like this because it's so easy to move around in water without having to, uh, how as hard as it would be on land. But I think swimming is really good. Cycling, just don't do it too much. You don't want to lose too much weight. And it's kind of hard to say what to do because, you know, you don't want to do too much because, you know, they're not getting that much nutrients because you say he's only getting like broth soup and stuff. So it's kind of hard to give things out because, you know, you don't want to overdo it because they're not getting that much nutrients, maybe not much sleep because
Yep. That's
the
a man.
situation.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a
Yeah.
big. That's a issue that another thing that is a big issue is this is why I talk about their depression and things like that. Just because they don't, because having to get up in the middle of the night all the time, going to the restroom back and forth, it causes you not to sleep, which, you know, lack of sleep is always a problem. So I mean, I would say that was a big problem my son has. I think he still has that issue. I think that has affected him a lot because from over the years, just always worrying about having to get up and going, just the anxiety of it. It's a lot of anxiety. Um, like I said, man, just think if you had to, just think about having to go to the bathroom all the time, man, and nobody wants to poop on themselves. And just imagine it if you do poop on yourself, because that's what be happening. That's what happens. And so it's this disease it's embarrassing to some people possibly to even talk about. So that's another reason why I'm talking about it, because don't be embarrassed of this, man. This is something that you can't. This is it's none you can control. So we need to talk about it more so we can all understand that it's a lot of people that's really being affected by this, that they might have symptoms of this, might not necessarily have full-fledged inflammatory bowel disease or anything like that, but they're having a lot of stomach issues. And this is something that I learned about this going through this, that your gut is where all diseases start in your stomach. I never knew that. Diseases start in your stomach. So your stomach is probably your most important organ in your body, because that's where all the food everything that you consume goes there. So you have to your gut health is important, man. I'm not a big religious person or nothing like that, but when they always say that your body is a temple, like I told you, this disease, man, made me just think about so many things in a totally different way. Like, our body is a temple, like it is, and if we don't treat it right, if we don't put the right things in it, it can crumble, and it can hurt. So you have to take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies, because like I said, like he was talking about, man, my son, man, just, it's so many effects that happens with this disease. Not necessarily just, like I said, with your stomach pain, just the depression, the lack of sleep, just so many other things that come with it that causes even more stress to your body. Like I said, my son, man, he getting up at night was a real big problem for him. We were going back and forth to the bathroom. So, like I said, like Kobe was talking about, man, lack of sleep is a big issue with anybody that's going through these problems. My brother, he's the same type of way, man. My brother very rarely leaves the house. Um, and it's because of this disease. I talk to him about it. Like, I try to I try to get him to understand. Like, and my brother has 3 kids. So imagine having children, and you don't really like to leave the house that much. Your kids don't want to do that. I mean, just imagine the things that you're missing out on just because of that. So, like I said, man, this disease is it's affecting a lot of people. So I want us to just please pay attention to what you eating. Please exercise, everybody. I used to I was always being lazy about exercising and things like that. That's the one thing that I just really started picking up myself. I wasn't always exercising because, like I told you, I'm a mailman, so I exercise every day, but I really don't. I just walk every day, but I wasn't never really doing any exercises. I wasn't lifting any weights or anything like that. Here lately, I have started doing that. So I probably I try to work out at least 3 times a week, and I've been doing pretty good with it. If I could, I would do it every day, but I can't always do it because just some family situations that we have going on. But doing that has actually, like I said, it's helped. Man, you wouldn't working out, exercise. It's strenuous at times, and you feel like your body can't do it or whatever. But man, I know I can't believe it sometimes. After I get done, I mean, I'm tired or whatever, but when I go to work, I actually feel better. Like, I feel stronger. I mean, it's crazy to me sometimes, man. It's made me want to go work out even more though. So, because I feel it. I feel the difference in my body, man. And like I said, I eat pretty good. So this exercise, and now that I'm exercising too, it's all starting to come together for me. And I feel like I'm in a pretty good space as far as that. So I'm recommending that. Just like I said, like, exercise and eating better, man. This is how we can avoid these diseases, especially this disease. So just please, man, pay attention to your diet. Make sure you're getting some exercise and taking care of yourself. I'm gonna let Kobe have one last word before we go. Is there anything you want to say about just this is anything about just give us some words of advice?
Just stay on that diet, know what you're eating, and just really pay attention to those labels and stuff. Make sure you're not uh taking in none of those processed food dyes and stuff like that, because so it does it. And just make sure to be moving, even if it's just walking, walking a trail or something. you know, because I don't think, I think both the mental and the physical part is important in the health. Think taking those walks just clear your mind, and I think there's a lot you can do with that. And yeah, I would just say just watch what you're eating and stay healthy, mentally and physically.
Hey man, appreciate you, man. Like I said, ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease. These is three. They're all inflammatory bowel disease is what they consider them to be. Crohn's and ulcerative colitis are two forms of it. I just Please educate yourself on that disease. There's a lot of athletes that actually have that disease. Larry Nance Jr. When my son was in the hospital, when I was trying to find out athletes and because I was trying to figure out how to get him back. He was one of the first people that I noticed, that one of the guys that I recognized. He actually has a foundation. He works with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. He has his own foundation. When I was trying to find information, his website was one of the websites that I was looking at. Larry Nance Jr. He has Crohn's disease, and he's in the NBA. And after I found out about that, when I started seeing him and I started seeing his body, and he would be out for time to time. I started recognizing why. I started realizing, like, okay, that's his disease is the reason why he's out a lot. That's part of the reason why he's out. It's not necessarily because he's hurt or anything like that. It's because he's dealing with his Crohn's. I guess he started dealing with it when he was in high school also, but he was one of the people that I actually started following and paying attention to, just to try to help my son get back to where he was. There are a lot of athletes that had this disease that we really don't know. There's a marathon runner. She also has it. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but like I said, these diseases are a lot more prevalent than we really know. So just educate yourself, educate your family, and just take care of yourself. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is another episode. I'll see you when I get there. 1.